But your level of consistency is amazing.
I mean, I need it. Like, I'm there like for selfish reasons. Like, I won't do good in business if I'm not there. It's like I have to work out. That's my first win of the day.
Really?
Yeah.
You won't do business? Okay, what's the relationship between business and your idea of working out?
For me, it's just like I need that quick W. I call it the first win of the day. Like if I don't wake up and work out, I just don't feel good about myself. So my energy's off. And then now when I'm working, I'm thinking about like, okay, so when am I going to get my workout in today? So I might as well get it in like immediately.
Every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, okay, so I believe success takes a certain level of discipline and for sure consistency. Have you always been that way?
I've definitely not always been that way. I've always worked hard. I've always been disciplined. Like as far as sports, I think I'm disciplined and consistent on the things that I love doing. Mm-hmm. So when I found out that I loved, business, love going to the gym, I'm consistent and disciplined about those things. But things that I don't like doing, it's hard for me to stay consistent about.
Do you know how to teach someone to be disciplined? That's a hard thing for me. I've been trying to like figure out.
Yeah.
I think there's some things that you can not teach.
Yeah, I think you can help people become more disciplined, but at the end of the day, it's something that you're either going to be disciplined about something or you're not. And it's just dependent on the relationship you have with that thing. If you love doing something, you're going to do it every day without thinking about it. And people are going to say you're disciplined, but you don't really see it that way.
You love working out, bro?
Yeah, I love working out. I love.
No, you don't.
I love working out with the people.
I can't even imagine how somebody would love working out. Like,
you got to come to Rich and Fit, bro. You'll fall in love with it.
I went there, and we had a workout last Sunday. Actually, it was the last Sunday or Sunday before last. Yeah, 2 Sundays ago, we did a muscle mindset and something else with money. And we invited a bunch of people and we worked out together, and then we did like a workshop after. It was really,
I saw
dope.
that. It looked dope.
Yeah, but I didn't feel good doing the workout. I wanted to quit. Exactly. Yeah. If I'm being real with you, I don't love it. You don't love it either, bro.
Nah, I love it. I love it. Some people don't love it. You might be like Neo.
Ultimately, in the end goal, right? Like, obviously, if you were thinking about your 5-year, 10-year plan, are you planning on being 60 and having your podcast, right? Like, are you planning on Howard Sterning this thing, or, whoever has the longest running show that is senior level? Are you planning on being that person, right? If not, if you're planning on being a person where you can go and speak at Howard about what you've done and how you've overcame working at a Cheesecake Factory to building a t-shirt line, doing 7 figures, and then starting a podcast and building a university around podcasting and all of these things, you have to detach David, the person, from the podcast.
And how do I do that?
You do that by personal branding, right? So when you think of P. Diddy, you don't think of his record label. You think of, you would book Diddy.
You think of Diddy.
You think of Diddy.
For sure.
You're definitely not thinking about Danity Kane, making the band, and all of the
Day
other
26,
people.
you're not thinking about that.
You're not thinking about all the people that Diddy has built. You're not thinking about all the products that Diddy is attached to. When we think of Beyonce, we don't think of Darion. We don't think of Ivy Park.
True. Not even Destiny's Child.
We don't think of Destiny's Child because they do so good of being a personal brand and letting their businesses live on their own.
So I need to step my personal branding game.
Yes.
How much you charge? How much you going to charge me?
I charge a little bit.
I bow.
I'll give you this example. Tyler Perry says this, right? He talked about when you look at a rocket ship, right? And a rocket ship is going to its highest height, there are things that are going to fall off, that have to fall off while the rocket ship is going to that height. Because number one, a couple of things. Number one is that the way the rocket is made, at this bottom level, it needs all of these things to help it get to its highest height. But once it gets to that height, those things need to fall off, or it's never going to reach that height, right? And it's a matter of that happening where there was a vision in the beginning where, all right, this is the vision, this is where we're looking to go. And as we're going in that direction, there's a lot, there's a lot of work. There's things that are being put into the situation to help it reach its highest height, right? But then when we get to that height, not everybody's ready for that level, right? Some people are gonna suffocate because the atmosphere is just too much for them, right? And so that's what wound up happening. We're up here, like everything that we said we were gonna do, so we're up at this level, at this height, and people are suffocating, like they can't breathe. They're like, oh my God, this altitude. Like I've never been this high up. I've never been in this altitude, and then now the altitude is suffocating them, and so I could keep them in this altitude, and they're going to die, literally though, too.
We're in a very competitive world. Right? So if my organization and my leaders are all emotionally distraught and, can't separate personal from business, they lose.
Yeah. It was pretty cool one day. I don't know, and I thought about this the other day. I don't know, Kay, you were doing something. You were here. And like just getting everything done or whatever. And then Donnie told me, like, yo, she was sick or you weren't feeling well. Something. I don't know what it is. Maybe it was like a girl thing going on. I don't know. But she was like, yo, yeah, she's bad today. And I was like, she told me. That's what I called you, like, yo, are you good? You sure? And she's like, yeah, I'm just going to lay down. And I honestly thought that was pretty cool. In the moment. I'm like, yo, I didn't even know. But you got the job done. So that's a good example.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Now, outside of that, then the people you have a personal relationship with, obviously you want to help them in any way that you can, and things happen, but when it's time when the game starts, right? There are NFL teams, NBA teams, Major League Baseball teams that have lost games and championships because of lack of emotional intelligence on the members of the team. Poise.
So if you're listening to this, just find a book on emotional intelligence. Do you have any good ones? Any you recommend?
Just anything on emotional intelligence. There's a lot of books written on emotional intelligence. The next one after poise is passion. David, I'm here because you're very passionate about what you're doing, right? Obviously, this is not something that you just do haphazardly. You're very passionate about, getting the messages across that you desire. So I'm very passionate, obviously, about helping people supplement their income, supplement their lifestyle. So there's humility, hunger, poise, passion, maturity.
Before we get to maturity, somebody said something to me, and this is something I'll struggle with. I was on this mastermind call, and he asked me, he said, what are you like most passionate about, right? And I said something like, my kids. I love hanging out with my kids. I love like the podcasting space. But he was looking for something else. He was looking for me to find something to where my heart breaks about it.
Right.
And I don't know if I have that temperament. But I would love to develop, I'm talking about where people get super passionate when they start talking about something.
Right.
And my temperament is very even keeled. Right. But I do want to get on that side of like something that moves me emotionally. And he said, most of the people that have been super successful, it came out of something it was actually Patrick Bet-David. He said, most of the people that have been super successful, it came out of something that they hate. Like Oprah. There was like some injustices and, her background of being raped. And she had to become successful because she hated a thing. And I want to try to develop that.
Have you ever been poor?
Not poor, no.
There you go. Have you ever been poor? Anybody ever been poor? Right? Where we have this never again thing, right? If you've ever been poor and you've had children where you struggle to feed your children, right? That's that thing. Whatever that thing is, it's called your why. And your why should make you cry, then it should make you fly. Yeah. So poverty for me is that thing that wakes me up in the morning, not just for myself, but for my children. The reason why it's important for me, I have 4 beautiful children, 22, not children anymore, but adults now. But when you get to, if you ever been to a place where, you know, tomorrow could appear to be dark financially, right? As entrepreneurs, you know, you go through those spaces. So that's that thing. What you're describing is your why, your reason why you're doing something. The reason why after you make the money, you're still going, right? After you're comfortable, what about the next generation, right? What about the people who are following you? Are they financially independent, right? How bright is their future? How bright is the future for their children? So yeah, that why should make you cry, then it should make you fly. And that passion comes from me seeing other people who are in poverty, right? Who are afraid. When the pandemic hit, you know, probably you and I were, you know, we pivoted, right? But when the pandemic hit, you know, there's a lot of people who lost their livelihood. There's a lot of people who lost their lives. There's a lot of parents who went to the hospital and never came back and left, right, people behind. So the fear of poverty, right, freedom. Our community, we should value freedom more than any other thing in this world, right? Because for a long period of time, we didn't have it. So I
You were for?
Absolutely.
If you could attribute your success to one of these three things, in what order of importance would you put them? Your network, your work ethic, or your skill set? Your network, your work ethic, or your skill set? What's most important? What would you contribute most of your success to?
Definitely network.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't think you were going to say that.
I think network just helps me in multiple ways. So network, number one, because every day that I wake up, even if I want to slack off, I go on Instagram. Every story I'm watching, someone's doing something. Someone's buying a building. Someone just made another $1 million. I'm like, how can I slack off if my friends are going crazy?
That's real.
So that's one. Network, because also, you know, a lot of my friends are skilled in certain things, so they help me with my business. Like Aaron, he's one of my friends. He runs my ads. So he's been running my ads for the past 2 years. Without him, wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Same with my email team, same, like all these different aspects of my business. They were my friends before I started doing business with them. So that's another thing right there. And I think it's important to have people that you can talk to about the struggles in business, because they're probably going through the same struggles too. And they may have overcame those struggles already.
Yeah.
So it's like mentors too at the same time.
Didn't you think when you got rich, you wouldn't have any problems?
yeah, that's what it seems like.
Oh yeah, when you didn't have no money, like it's like, yo, if I get some money, oh my gosh, it's up. I'm gonna be traveling the world, I'm gonna chill, and I'm not doing no webinar every week, and I'm not going to the gym. I'm just gonna be, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
It's
what it
not
seems
like
like.
that.
Nah.
What's your biggest challenge with success?
I would say the biggest challenge now is the fact that I know I'm responsible for a lot of other people's income and not just mine. So it's like, it's kind of just, I have that reminder in my head of I can't slack off, and it's a bigger deal if the business doesn't do what I say it's going to do, because it's not only impacting my success in my life, but a lot of other people's lives too.
Yeah, that's
so I
real.
think that's one of the biggest things.
I can feel that too, man, because I always had a problem with firing people, and I've had a problem firing people even though it was their fault and they deserved to be fired. Much more somebody that I would have to let go because if there was like a financial situation, like I didn't perform and do what I had to do, and then I had to come in and tell somebody that is doing an amazing job, hey, I gotta let you go.
Yeah.
That's real.
That's tough. That's one of the hardest things about business.
Yeah. Thank God I haven't had to do that. I'm not even gonna say yet because I don't think we're not going anywhere. We're good guys. All right. We'll fly. Things are great. Okay, so back to the rank. Network number one. Where did the other two fall? Work ethic or skill set?
I would say probably work ethic, because if you got good work ethic and you work on something long enough, you're going to become good at it. And that's going to build your skill set. You know, some people are naturally talented, but they don't have good work ethic. So they're not really doing anything with their talents, or they'll just, get comfortable. So I think work ethic is important, but at the same time, I think that's tied with network. Because if I didn't have a network, if I didn't have friends that were also very successful and they were always working every day and doing big things, then my work ethic wouldn't be where it is right now. Because I'm inspired literally daily, and that's what allows me to keep going and want more.
And then you're married to another rich man, which we thought for a long time that he was using your money. But
my God.
No.
First
Now
of all,
know
you can't think the caliber of the woman that I am would ever continuously be in a relationship with a man and allow him to use my money.
First off, Oprah got Stedman.
You don't know.
Not that Stedman ain't have nothing going on, but Oprah got Stedman. Okay.
So the thing, wait, because we got to dive into this, right? Because that was the narrative with me and my husband for so long, because he never had Instagram and he's quiet, right? So honestly, I work with a client right now who's very popular on the internet, but her husband is in the oil industry. So he doesn't have an Instagram. He doesn't care about posting. But trust him, their house is 30,000 square feet. To me, I think I want to change that perception in life.
I know what Zoe is.
You know.
I know what he do. But I'm saying for a while, everybody's seeing, this guy, I guess he's in clothes, and then you got Skittles. So this is the narrative.
Of course.
Now, I know Zoe is all the way up because he's giving me a lot of money. Okay, we've done business ventures together, and it's never like hey, give me a couple days. It's like check your account. I'm like, dang.
And that's a good portion of our relationship in the beginning. Like, I had a clothing brand, and I was growing it and scaling it. And the person that I knew after my first divorce, the person that I knew that I wanted to be with long term would need to match my hustle, my drive, and the ability to sometimes fund my dreams when I'm down, and me have the ability to fund his dreams if he was down as well. Now we've been together 10 years. He's never been down, but I mean,
never.
Yo, Zoe ain't never been down, because Zoe is just a quiet hustler. Like I was getting on him the other day because I was like, babe, you do so much that I don't feel a part of. Like, my husband is so big on life insurance, legacy planning. All of our kids got multi-million-dollar policies. I don't know. I'm like, okay, great. I see every week a new State Farm person come and jab me. I'm like, I need to put this on public record. But I'm like, he's really big on the investing side and just really knowing where every single dollar goes in your business and how to triple it, where I feel like I've always been on the side of working really, really hard. And Zoe works very, very smart. Like, Zoe can be a one-man band and like make millions of dollars. Meanwhile, my payroll is like 6 figures. So, and it's always been how it's been. But the reason why I think it's very important is that women sometimes overlook the men that have it going on but are very quiet about it. Like, most women that are in my space will look at the more flashier person on the internet. And that was me at one point in time when I met Zoe. He's like, I don't got no Instagram, but I'm taking my mom to Dubai. I'm like, Cap, like,
because if you can't see it ain't true.
Here you go. And then like he comes back, shows me all these pictures, send me all the pictures. I'm like, why you ain't posting on Instagram? Who you trying to hide from? He's like, my life ain't on Instagram. I don't care about that. So it was a big transition to me. Also, what you don't know, Dave, I'm always coming on your podcast, give you all the secrets. When I met Zoe, I felt like I was in a very pivotal place in my life. Like, I had, my own apartment, my car, like I had everything. And Zoe had 10 retail stores, but was living with his mother, was living with his mom. So I'm like, hold on, do you got it like that for real? Like, are you stable? He's like, I'm good. I got 10 retail stores. I got employees crazy. Like, come to South Carolina and see what I got going on. But it was that stability piece that was like, but you ain't got no Bentley, or you ain't got no this. Is it really real? Until I needed to ship a Jimmy Jazz order that was like $50,000. And I called him and I was like, hey, I'm not going to be able to spent so much time on the phone with you and dating you this week. I gotta hustle. And he's like, what you mean? I'm like, I'm coming down there this weekend, but I'm not gonna be able to talk to you that week because I have to be able to hustle up this money to be able to ship this PO. And he was like, oh, okay. Leaving that weekend, I was getting in my car to go back. He came to the car and was like, here's the money for the PO. When you get it, just give it back to me. It's no problem. But I can't miss a day without talking to you. So it's like,
wow.
Yo, when we get married? Hold on. Are we married? Like, yeah.
Wow.
So it was that moment when I really knew, like, not only did he have my back, but the capacity of the man that he had the potential to truly be.
Yeah.
So we be sleeping. Ladies, we be sleeping.
I know.
And y'all be like, how you get his out? Oh, I got him, but he was living at his mom's house. And I wasn't all that good either. He stuck with me on an airbed for 6 months, while I rebuilt my brand and rebuilt my business. So I think when you are preparing that relationship, there has to be some give and take.
Okay. Speaking of the book writing thing, okay, so I'm curious now.
Yeah.
How this whole book writing process works because AI is real.
Ooh.
It's
I wrote this book in 5 hours, just to let y'all know. 5 hours.
AI vibes?
Yeah. Yep.
So
How to create a fortune as a self-published author.
Here's the question.
Yeah.
Is it you or because you write a book? I wrote a book, my stories, my information, brain dump, book did well. But now that we have AI, and you wrote it with AI, am I reading AI's words?
Yeah. So the best analogy I will say is you have a lot of pictures on this wall, and you can either use a screwdriver to put the pictures up, or you could drill them in. Did you still put the pictures in?
Say it one more time.
So you have to hang up these pictures.
Yes.
And you have two tools that you could use. You could use a screwdriver to put them in, or you could drill.
Yes.
And you decide to use a drill. Does it matter? Does it matter how you put the picture up? Does it matter that you use a screwdriver or a drill? No.
In that scenario, no.
Yeah.
However, so I think I see a commercial or a meme or cartoon or something like that.
Yeah.
Lady, long hair, on a date, and she's trying to say the right words, but she has somebody in her ear coaching her to say whatever needs to be said.
Yeah.
And the person is super into that person.
Yeah.
Using someone else's words.
Yeah.
Or I got a pen pal and I'm writing this lady these words, but the words aren't for me. I have someone writing it, doing it for me.
Yeah.
In
Plagiarism,
that scenario,
100%.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's not what's happening with AI though.
Okay.
Right? Because I'm not asking AI to give me the content.
Okay.
I'm giving AI the content and I'm saying make it sound better. Right? So
Give me an example.
Give me an example with this book, right? I go to ChatGPT right now. I say, ChatGPT, give me 15 ways that I can make money from a book. It's not gonna give him my 15 ways. It don't know my 15 ways. It's gonna give me whatever's out there, right? It's gonna give you, write a book. It's gonna be so basic, right? Anybody watching, do this, do that. Go to ChatGPT right now and say, please give me 15 ways to make money from a book. And I promise you that if you
Who got it? Somebody got it in here?
if you look at the 15 ways, it's not gonna be
words. So give me. You
right?
got it. You got it, Kay?
Tell me the 15 ways.
All right, let me
and then you go in my book and you tell me my 15 ways.
Give Kay a mic real quick. Okay. So the 15 ways are they like? Do we have it in here like a list?
There should be a section.
Monetizing your book. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to be interested in knowing the 15 ways. Kay, come sit over here real quick. We want to see you. You can sit right here. It's cool. All right. So, now Ash.
Yep.
I'm about to write a book, bro.
Yeah. And so here's the deal. The deal is that all of that is my knowledge.
Yeah.
And so all I do is I give ChatGPT the prompt. I have to give it the right prompt. I say, hey, here's my knowledge. Here's this thing. Please expound on it.
Go to that camera, please. Go for it.
Right? So I say Chat GPT, here's this information. I need you to expound on it. So now it starts to expound on what I gave it. And it's smart enough to know where I was going based on the little bit that I give it. And so now I'm teaching it. I'm feeding it the information, and it's giving me back the information based on it. So it's still my thoughts, it's still my ideas, still what I do originally.
Okay. All right, cool.
15 ways. Chat GPT, go.
All right. Let me see Ash's angle again real quick. All right, cool. All right, so what you got, Kay? What are the 15 ways to monetize a book?
Yep.
Okay. Hold on 1 second.
That's my number one.
Getting books in hand, physical. Okay.
Yep. Same thing. That doesn't even make sense, but go ahead.
Okay.
Number 3 is print on demand.
Same thing.
Which is
Physical
the same
book.
thing, yeah.
Doesn't make sense. Go ahead, go.
Number 4 is audiobooks.
Okay, that's my number 2.
That's number 2. Okay.
Number 5 is ebooks.
That's my number 3.
Number 3.
Number 6 is translation.
What?
If your book is popular, you can consider translating it into other languages and selling it in different.
That's actually hard.
That is.
That's hard.
So that look, I
It
got
should've
16
been.
now. That's not
That one
not one
should've
of mine,
made the book.
but thank you, ChatGPT.
Okay. Keep going.
Number 7 is book clubs. You can
Nope,
work
I don't
with
have
book
that either.
clubs to-
Nope.
Number 8, speaking engagement.
I have that.
Okay.
Number 9 is consulting.
I have that.
Okay.
Number 10 is courses.
I have that.
Okay. All right. I think I understand what's happening.
Right.
So it's no different than research and development for your book.
Right.
Anyway.
Right.
Right. So if I was like, yo, I want to write a book on, I don't know, best podcast practices.
Yep.
I will put it in ChatGPT.
Yep.
And it gives me a bunch of information
Yep.
where I can decipher through it and say, all right, this is good.
Absolutely.
That doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
This is
and
my
I'll give you a prime
experience.
example, right? So if you ask ChatGPT, and I don't know if they fixed it, but if you ask ChatGPT, please give me a list of self-publishing platforms, it's going to tell you CreateSpace, right? Well, any OG in the self-publishing game knows that Amazon bought CreateSpace.
Yeah.
And so if somebody doesn't know what they're talking about and they use ChatGPT and they publish a book that says CreateSpace, then it's going to be outdated. People are going to be reading wrong information. But I know what I'm talking about. So I'm going, like you said, it's like research. It's like me writing a book and I have an assistant that's helping me write the book. I say, go, assistant, please research this, research that, put this together. They're going to come back with all this information. And as the expert, though, you have to be an expert. Yeah. You cannot skimp off of that. You have to be the expert, because as the expert, I am now going to say, all right, like you said, I want this, I want that, I want that. But it happens really, really fast. This is why I wrote this book in 5 hours.
You defended that well, Ash.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like at
good.
the end of, look, I'm dropping stuff. you know, at the end of the day, yeah. At the end of the day, AI is a tool that you can use to accomplish things faster.
Right.
It would normally take me, if that's the only thing I'm focusing on, it would normally take me 2 months to finish a book from start to finish. Literally, I started this book at 9 p.m. I didn't go to sleep till about 3 a.m, and it was done.
Describe rock bottom for me in your life.
Rock bottom is
Or in your life, your situation.
Absolutely. When you foreclose on your home and have to move your 4 children into an apartment, right? You go from, doing pretty good to where something happens in your business and you lose your home and your belongings are sitting out on a curve when you get home, and you've got to scramble to get your shelter, basic necessity, for your children, and they're 2, 4, 6, and 8 years old. You follow me? This could be the whole 10-hour series. When the electricity goes out, right? When the gas and heat go out because you didn't pay it.
It's different when you got kids.
When your credit is, when you can't answer your home phone, When your wife's answering the home phone and crying because the money's not there to pay. When you go to the grocery store and you pull out your debit card and you don't have no confidence behind it.
That's a fact.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
We could all, for those of us who have been in between blessings, as I call it, right? Yeah, I could keep going. I help people who are in that situation.
Yeah.
And a lot of Americans are in that situation, and they may be poised about it, and you don't know what they're going through. They may sit right here in this chair and parking their car around the corner.
Do you keep that in your memory bank?
Ooh, absolutely. Absolutely. I keep it in my memory bank because I don't never want to forget, and I never want to look at that person that's in that situation and overlook them. When I have a vehicle that could help them.
Yeah.
And there's a level of empathy that you have when you see that look, when you see that stare.
Yeah. You can relate?
Oh, you should never forget that either.
And the next thing was maturity.
Yeah.
In what regard?
Just when you're doing business, there's a level of maturity. I see young, beautiful people in here that are mature in business, and they're not hiding behind a title. They're not saying, "Oh, I get a pass because I'm a millennial or I'm a Generation Z." We're doing business, so they're acting accordingly, regardless of their age. There's a level of maturity that you have to do business, to walk into the bank, right? To negotiate and to negotiate contracts and deals. There's a level of maturity that you have to have. You don't get a pass because you're a certain age.
How do you develop maturity? As a kid, my kid is 2. Eventually, she'll be 5, 10, right? And she'll be more mature, right, over time. But how do I, as an entrepreneur now, become more mature in business?
Well, you've evolved. You've had coaches, mentors that held you accountable. Your upbringing, there's certain expectations of you, from somebody, from some people, that really forces you to grow, to grow in that area of maturity in business, right?
Is it just knowledge base, is it experience, or what?
It's a lot of experience. It's a lot of humility of listening to those who have gone the distance, who have more business maturity than we have, right? Listening to coaches, listening to mentors. Saying, hey, this may have worked for you at this age, but as you continue to go, or at this stage of business, but it's not going to work for you. When people walk into your studio, there's a level of expectations that I felt when I walked in the door, and that there's a level of maturity that people have to make it back behind that door right there. Yeah. Am I correct in saying
100%, 100%.
Yeah, there's just some expectations that you have for anybody. But if it was a 3-year-old child running around here, it'd be different, right? You can't have that expectation for them. But when they're over the age of 18 years old and they come behind that door, right, when you're getting ready to go on program, I saw you set it up. Yeah. There's a level of expectation and a standard that you set that must be, abided to.
The version of myself that I was at 1 million wasn't ever going to be the version of myself that I needed to be at 10 million. So I'm constantly changing.
How? In what ways?
Being more disciplined, or just, meeting new people and then getting influenced by them and then changing in like small ways like that.
But in respect to your relationship, or your, like, an intimate relationship.
Right.
How did you have to change?
I guess now I work a lot more than I used to. So the relationship and I changed in as far as like more communication now. I'm someone that I had to work on my communication over the years because I wasn't the best at communication. So I think I changed in that aspect. And then she had to be more understanding. So maybe that's how she changed too.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Did you ever get arrogant?
Like, what do you mean?
I mean, I'm the man. You go from not having anything to being lit. You can start feeling yourself a little bit like,
right,
I'm that guy. And then there's more attention because I know you're not driving no Honda Accord.
Nah, definitely not. But I wouldn't say I've ever been arrogant, but I'm aware.
You know what's going on.
Yeah.
Do you get women coming at you?
Yes. especially when I travel for some reason. But I always got my girl with me, so.
Oh, really? You take her with you?
Yeah.
As a safeguard, kind of?
No, I wouldn't say that. But
Just to make sure, okay? That's dope, man. That's dope. And, does she work?
yeah.
She still works
Yeah, she's the event coordinator.
for your events?
Nah, so I need to throw more events so she can help me with that. But she's an event coordinator for this, it's like this high-end Italian restaurant.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they do other like different events and stuff too. So she's been doing that for the past like 4 years.
Has she ever tried to help you with your business?
She does. Like she helps me.
Ain't it
save more.
annoying?
I mean, it can be. It can be.
I'm about to get him in trouble. You hear me? Not annoying, but it's tough, right? Because I have a wife, and she does some very, very key things. One, she for sure holds down the household, and she has like great ideas and amazing ideas. And sometimes there's a challenge of, like, if I don't take her ideas, she could take them personally, but I don't take even some ideas from my staff. You know what I mean? So, but it becomes a kind of a, especially if they do a job, like say my wife does something and she doesn't do it, she might do it well, but not how I want to do it. I had to work on how to communicate that in a way that she's not offended.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because she doesn't want to be talked to like someone that I hired to do the event. You know what I mean? So have you had any issues?
So she's not really that involved when it comes to my business. She'll help me stay organized in certain things, but I would say like my girl is more so a perfectionist and I'm like the opposite. So a lot of times like I'll post a video or like I'll show her something and she'll kind of like nitpick it and be like, nah, you should fix this, fix this, fix this. And I'll kind of be like, yeah, you're right. But then I'll just post it anyways. And then she might get mad. But you know, I'm the type that I'm gonna just post it and keep it going, you know.
You must have had some media training because you're answering these questions A1 as if she's in the room. You're doing real good. How long has this been out?
About January, so like top of the year.
So about 5 months, maybe.
Yeah.
Almost 5 months.
Yeah.
You sold a lot?
This copy, no. So when you came in, you was like, man, when you put this book out?
Yeah, because I thought this was the one you was.
Yeah, so Abundance is Your Birthright is the one that I've sold a lot of copies. Billboard on Times Square. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Put some respect on my name as a self-published author. You know what I'm trying to say? Like my fifth #1 bestseller, because I really focused on that.
How do you do that? How do you make it a bestseller? Is there a trick?
Yeah, so the trick is really just understanding what categories are selling. And what categories can you put your book into so that it could sell the most, right? And so what I do is any book that I put out, I'm looking at, you know, like I don't want to compete against Simon & Schuster. So I'm not going to put my book in a category that some New York Times bestseller has the same category, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in a category that is still aligned with my book, but it's not necessarily a popular category, so that way it becomes a #1 bestseller. And here's the thing: Amazon has an algorithm as well, and so as now it becomes a #1 bestseller, you definitely want to do pre-sales, because if you do pre-sales, you'll get all of those sales that like let's say if you had a pre-sale for 2 months, everybody who purchased within that first 2 months, it counts for your first week sales. Right?
How though?
Because your release date isn't until they actually release it. Right, and so if let's say, you know,
but they have to buy it on Amazon.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, they have to buy it on Amazon.
So you can So let's say the book releases on Friday.
Yep.
If I make a sale on Monday.
Yep. It can't count for Monday because the book ain't out yet.
But it counts for Friday when it hits.
Absolutely.
Oh,
right.
That's how y'all be doing it.
Exactly.
Bro, I know some people. Because I'm not an Amazon bestseller. I am a #1 bestseller.
Yep.
Amongst. You know, my family.
Yeah. Yeah. But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. And so people don't realize this, right? Is now
I've said that before. Like, bestseller
right?
author.
So now what do? You get a bunch of people to buy it.
I'm sorry, is that cat, bro? Because I definitely told people I'm a best-selling author. I didn't qualify it.
No, I mean, if the numbers hit, you know what I'm saying? You're a bestseller, right? So now you sell all these copies pre-sold. You put it in the right category. First week comes out, and now it's a number one bestseller, number one new release. Now you got social proof, right? So now, unfortunately, a lot of people want to be first to be second. They don't want to be the first to support you. But when they see everybody else supporting you, they want to support you. So that number one bestseller now, everybody's like, oh, this book is hot, this book is hot. And so now you go off of that momentum. When Amazon sees that people are buying your book, now the algorithm is actually going to recommend the book with other books in that same genre to continue to push the book to people who aren't even looking for you.
So how many pre-sales did you sell?
So I was like 2,500 pre-sales.
Dang, bro, that's a lot still.
Right, 2,500 pre-sales in a two month span, and then I had a billboard on Times Square, which.
So did that work? That works.
Yeah, it works because not only were people seeing my book who didn't know who I was, but again, now I have a lot of content using that billboard. Now all of my 250,000 followers are like, oh my God, he's doing big things, and they want to jump on it.
Price of the book, how much you sold the book for?
$14.99.
Speaking of maturity, I was in that other company, and I just heard the story of like how you decided to just like leave, and I would imagine it was some immaturity on the part of the people that were leading you at the time. And it was like, yo, you just got sick of it pretty much. Like, I don't remember exactly what happened, but I would imagine there was something that you didn't like, something about how the company was being run. And in that scenario, did you identify like they're too mature in business, or was it something else?
No. And let's be clear. These individuals, they owned the company. They weren't leading me. And I'm just saying that, fair to say.
Explain the difference though.
I came into a company with my expertise, and I was able to take the company from a few hundred people to, as you mentioned, well over 20-some thousand people. So they brought a leader in to help build the company, right? They owned the company, which is important to note that when someone owns a company, they have the right to run it the way they want to. And because they owned the company and I didn't, I opted, if I didn't agree with the way the company was being run, I had to leave. Just that simple.
Got you.
Just like if somebody on your doesn't like the way you do things here, one option.
Right.
Right? It wasn't personal again. It was just, if you don't like the way something is running and you don't own it, you have one option, and I chose that option.
Did you see a change in the owners of the company? Because I'm just playing a scenario in my head where, okay, I got a couple hundred people in my company, and you come in, and it runs to over 20,000, meaning the company is a lot more profitable. They're making more money. Did you see a difference in how they talked to you or approached you when you first got started? When they had a couple hundred?
Absolutely. The need, wasn't there anymore. I actually, the company, we took it up to 36,000.
36,000.
Yes. And, companies naturally want to increase their profitability, right? So people have a natural tendency to want to maximize their pleasure, minimize their pain. So at that point, it's 36,000 people, the owners had a right to, see how they could make it more profitable. And I felt like it was at the expense of the leaders who had created that success.
But would you tell him that if you didn't like what he wore to set today and you think he should dress up?
Would you tell me that? Would you tell me? Reese, you tell me. Yeah, if I was swaggerless today, and it's just. Yes, you tell me.
If it had something to do with something I know.
Yeah. Okay. Would you tell me if I was? No. Why? I don't. Why wouldn't they tell me? I don't. I mean, I'm not
because it doesn't. One, they could feel like it could affect your confidence. Also, I just roast you back. Also could feel.
They
also could feel like it may affect your confidence in them. Like your confidence in them to, okay, now I wear this button up and now all my clients, all my fans are roasting me and like, oh, you wearing a button up now? So now you may lack confidence in them to believe what they told you was actually good.
True. You don't think I need to wear a button up though, right? That's not what you're hitting at.
I mean, I definitely think you could. I think
Spruce
you
it up a little
could.
bit?
Yeah, for sure.
On a regular?
I mean, I honestly think where I see Dave being in the future commands a different aura than what you currently have. Is this a coaching session?
A little bit.
Chelsea, can you invoice it?
No, but I'm saying, so let me ask this. Is there someone that you think that is going to that higher level that needs to dress the way I dress?
I mean, honestly, I feel like when you look at EYL and what they've been able to do and you look at their first episode versus where they're currently at and where they're currently going, they have shifted the narrative around what EYL is, and they showed up looking the part, you know? I just think that where you want to be in 5 years should start now. Like my personal rebrand, honestly, I used to be so busy focused on making sure all of my businesses and my brands were successful, making sure Girl Mob was successful, making sure the icing agency was successful. And I have multiple businesses. So people always looked at me as, we don't really know what Skittles does, but we know that she do a lot, right? And depending on who knew me, every narrative was different. You would say something different. Someone else would say something different about me. Right now, I want people to know that I'm building the next WeWork for female entrepreneurs. Like, I'm building the next WeWork, but make it pink. I need everybody to know that. I don't want them to know I have agency, I have Girl Mob, I have this, I have that. Those brands already exist on their own. They're already doing great on their own. I already have a team built around those brands, right? So when you go to my page, I can't just give hacks or here, share this content or da-da-da-da, because I know that that's not what Forbes is looking for. I know that's not what Bloomberg is looking for. I know that's not where what Oprah is not trying to come to my page and see me selling the ebook. I'm sorry.
You're talking good.
She just isn't, you know? So, and not shading those that sell ebooks because I have tons of them, right? But it lives on the business page that brand is around. It lives on Girl Mob. My marketing services live on the icing agency. You don't need to come to my page and say, you need a logo? 3 steps on how to get your logo. You don't need that. Like my brands, you're not going to Jeff Bezos' page to find out how Amazon shipping is working. You're not going to Oprah's page to figure out what article she's writing next. Like, where do you see yourself being 10 years from now?
This is so good.
Also, ladies that's watching this, it also goes back to who do you see yourself being 10 years from now? And are you dating that person that you see yourself being with in 10 years? Like, my relationship now is solely based on who I knew I was going to become. Like, I knew our first date with me and Zoe, it was an interview. Are you in debt? How many kids do you want? What's your plans? You live in South Carolina. Are you moving to Atlanta? It wasn't aggressive. Of course, I was like, okay.
So would you consider moving to Atlanta?
Yeah, I was like, would you consider moving to Atlanta? How many kids do you want? Because I already knew that I didn't want more than 2 kids. Yeah. Right? So if he was to say, oh, I want 4 kids, I want a big family, I'd be like, okay, cool. Yeah, we're not even compatible right now. Yeah. So I already know the trajectory of my life. We're not going to align. And so many people are listening to this podcast right now and they wonder wondering, why am I not where I want to be? Because you're not aligned with the person that is in the car with you. So you trying to go left, he trying to go right. I already knew from day one we were both going left together. And when it's time to go right, we both going right together. So I think when it comes to me, I'm thinking so far ahead. I'm thinking, where is the bakery, icing agency, Girl Mob gonna be in 5 years? My goal is to sell all of my businesses, right? And if I'm thinking about selling all of my businesses and living my best life and my grandchildren living off of the businesses that I've built and struggled with for 15 years, I need to personally detach from those businesses so that when the business sells, I don't sell.
Man, people can be inspired, right? Pumped up, right? Still gonna be scared. Because inspiration is what you get from other people. What are they gonna do once you're gone? I can inspire you, but I'm gonna leave. Then you gotta go do the thing. And it's not gonna happen overnight. So what do I do? Come in every day and inspire you? You're still gonna be scared. You're really gonna be scared when you get out there and start doing it. If you don't understand it.
Understanding.
Education. All that get an understanding. Understand. You're flipping this microphone and people are scared to death of this microphone. It's just a part of your wardrobe.
Yeah. Yo, that is a really good point. I understand that I can come in here. I'm educated to know that I can talk into this mic and it goes into that recorder. But if I don't like what goes into the recorder, I can just delete it. I understand that. But I think some people don't know that they could try something. And if they don't like that one, they could just try it again. They don't even know that.
Right.
I believe.
Well, also your ability to communicate with other people. Right? All those things. But if you know you don't have a command of the English vocabulary, you would be afraid. Right? So again, fear isn't coming in so many different forms. Because once you speak it, once it comes out, you can't unspeak it. It's out there. People are afraid of that. People are afraid of public opinion. What people think about me is none of my business.
Y'all caught it? Did you catch? We clapped that up. We clapped that up.
I mean, really, I can't. The people that's walking around, it's like they, afraid to say it, do it, mess it up, right? Dave, come on. We found our way to the top.
100%.
I mean, you messed it up. You didn't start with these microphones.
Right, you're right. These little lapel mics.
Right? That's not all, you keep adjusting. You throw it out there and you keep making the adjustments. But you weren't afraid to start it.
Man, I think people know that they just need to start, right?
Absolutely. And be humble enough to take the lessons that come along the way and make the proper adjustments and corrections. That's what humility comes in at, where you admit, man, I messed up.
Yeah,
I need to adjust. But if you don't think anything wrong, you keep doing the same thing and you keep failing. But you have to be humble enough to take the lessons that come with it.
Let me ask this. You said that, and this is what I gathered, when you hit rock bottom, you were actually up at some point. So did you hit rock bottom and then you started to build? Like, were you already on the bottom and you realized, okay, I'm down? Like, let's say you have a job, you're just getting by, and then you lose the job and now you hit rock bottom, but it's not a long fall. It's just, okay, I'm doing
Right.
Were you up and then you fell and then had to come up again?
Absolutely. Because we're entrepreneurs, right? And that goes back to why people don't try things, because they don't want to fail.
Yeah.
For people like us, we're not going to be satisfied, with just, the basic. Mm-hmm. It was very clear. I wanted to be wealthy.
Yeah.
Right? If I wasn't trying to be wealthy, I would have never failed. I would have been doing something safe. I failed going for it. Mm-hmm. And I fell. Right?
Yeah.
But I got back up and it made those adjustments. Yeah. Right?
What do you think is worse? Not being successful for a long time ever, or becoming successful and then failing?
Well, I mean, it just, success is relative, right? So for a lot of people, success is making 6 figures.
Yeah.
For some people, is having a job. Mm-hmm. Success for me was defined as being wealthy.
Mm-hmm. And how did you define wealthy?
The first sign of initial wealth for me was to get to $19,231 a week, $83,333 a month, which is $1 million a year. That was my personal, target. You follow me? Yeah. And along the way, I failed.
that something that me and Donnie were discussing. You think I'm too accessible?
Yes. Certainly. Accessibility brings your value down.
I'll be around too.
Accessibility brings your value down.
I'll be so in the mix.
Think about, I really hate saying names, but think about Beyonce. Think about Oprah. Think about Tyler Perry live in Atlanta. Right? But you never see him. So if he does an event today and announced it right now on his Instagram, would you go?
Of course.
But if you've seen him every day this week, would you go?
No.
So
I probably would go, but I wouldn't be as excited. Or if I had some other stuff to go on, I'd be like, oh, I'll see him tomorrow.
exactly. And I think that, again, how we run our businesses nowadays dictates the cult following that you're ultimately going to build. And it dictates how much people are going to pay you. How much would you pay somebody that you see every day versus somebody that you never see and you dream to be in that room? Beyonce did not care that our financial crisis when she listed her Renaissance tickets. I questioned myself, and I'm pretty good. Like, I'm pretty good. I was like, babe, like, this might be a gift, mom. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, but she didn't care because she knows that the people that are going to be in that room are going to figure it out.
Yeah.
You either see me in Atlanta or you never see me.
Yeah.
I think that we've built our businesses to feel like accessibility means community, and it doesn't.
We think that accessibility means community.
Yes. You think having to show up every day, having to hug people, having to know their kids' birthdays, and this, you think Jeff Bezos know all his hundreds of thousands of drivers, but they still at your door on Sunday. On Easter, I got packages. They were still there. That man don't know that person's name, but that person is attached to the core values and the mission of Amazon. And that person has attached his personal goals to his professional goals, which is why he shows up on Sunday. It has nothing to do with Jeff Bezos.
What if you really, really like the engagement? I love it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, waking up in the morning, like jumping on his morning meetup call, it does more for me than it does for them. That I get a chance to like speak and teach, and I get to see all these people, and I'm seeing like people grow. What if you like it?
I think, what is the end goal? Because it's cool when you like it, but what about when you don't?
Right.
What about when there is issues at home and you like, let me pull myself out of bed, craft myself up into this person that has to run the morning meetup, and I don't even feel like meeting up with myself for real.
Right.
Like, what about those days? What about those months? What about those years when your daughter's like, no, daddy, like, it's summer break. I want to be on vacation. I want to do this. I want to do that. What about those days? I think for me, right, my daughter is 5 years old. She's been to 15 countries and she's been on 500 flights.
Dang.
And I'm not saying that as a boastful thing. Sometimes as a mom, I question myself on, is this right for her? Does she want, like, literally, it's funny, this whole week, instead of my daughter saying, oh, Mom, we going to school? She literally wake up, I'm like, good morning, baby. Good morning, we going to the airport? I'm like, Zoe, no. We're going to school. We're not going to the airport? I'm like, no.
Oh,
and
wow.
it starts to challenge me because now her school is like, oh, y'all going somewhere this weekend? Y'all. I'm like, yeah. we are. Like, but it makes me think, like, is that what she wants to do as her 5-year-old self? Or does she want to be at a park? Does she want to say, Mom, are we going to the park? Most 5-year-olds are saying, Mom, are we going to the park? They're not saying, Mom, we're going to the airport. They don't know about TSA. They don't know about taking all the laptops and iPads out of your bag, you know? So I think when I think about how my life is and who it impacts, I want to live for not only myself, but the people that it impacts as well, which is my husband, which is my children. So when you think about that 10 years, your wife probably makes a lot of sacrifices from you being here. Your wife probably makes a lot of sacrifices from you running your business. Zoe makes a lot of sacrifices for me being in my day-to-day, which is why I hired a VP, which is why I hired an operations manager, because I don't want, it's cool. We've been doing this 10 years, but what about the day? In 10 years, Dave, there's never been a day when my husband has called me and said, babe, let's go to lunch during a work week, and I went. In 10 years. Unless we're on vacation or unless we planned around that. And when I see him at brunch with y'all, I'll be like, oh, you went to brunch with me? Oh, I see you at brunch. You didn't bring me nothing to work. But there hasn't been a day. But trust me, do you not think that he wants his wife to be like, babe, we going to lunch. Babe, we going to Greece. Babe, we out. He's altering his lifestyle based upon my own dreams.
If you like the video that you just watched, click this one. You're going to like this one, maybe even more. Click it right now.